everyone, Stu here. Thank you for joining me and welcome to practice. So today I've created a short practice that is targeting releasing tension in the outer hips, but also strengthening the region to give us more stability. Now the reason being, I've had a number of new students join my public classes, and many of them have come from the recommendation of a friend or a medical professional because they've had lower back pain and they've been told they've got sciatica or another condition called piriformis syndrome. Now, my public classes aren't specifically structured to alleviate or treat those conditions. So I thought, you know what I'll do? Do a little bit of research, put something together that I can offer people to give them more stability in that region. Now, right from the offset, full disclosure, I'm not a physiotherapist, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not saying that following these practices is going to cure or alleviate sciatic pain or piriformis syndrome. However, these are practices that are very well researched. I have also used them myself to alleviate lower back pain and strengthen in and around the hip region, both of which give more stability and more strength, and therefore a better way of managing conditions such as lower back pain, sciatica, and piriformis syndrome. Now we're going to have 4 practices. We're going to lead with breathing technique because for me it's one of the most important skills that we can learn. The breath is a very potent and direct way of managing how our system, how our entire being is responding to external stimulus or internal stimulus, i.e., if you're in pain and you're getting a lot of pain signals sent throughout your body, breathing can help you manage that better. And we're going to specifically tune into the technique of diaphragmatic breathing. After that, we're going to use some myofascial techniques. These are techniques that I love. I've been practicing these for the best part of 20 years. In fact, one of my first ever occupations after qualifying as a sports therapist was working under some physios and chiropractors. And my job all day long was to use myofascial techniques and massage techniques on their patients. They're techniques that have been with me for that entire time because personally, and also from the studies that I've done, these are great ways of alleviating tension and stress in specific areas of our body. Then we're going to look to stretch the region, and then finally, really importantly, we strengthen the region. So let's start. Let's come into a nice comfortable seated or reclined position, and let's begin with diaphragmatic breathing. Let's make a distinction here. Those that have practiced with myself before will know that we don't teach diaphragmatic breathing as abdominal movement. There's belly breathing or abdominal breathing, and then there's diaphragmatic breathing, and they're subtly different. And the reason being, I can move my belly in and out, I can let my navel come forwards and back towards the spine without actually engaging my diaphragm to its fullest capacity. Your diaphragm, as you can see on screen now, is an incredible thick band of tissue that sits inside the rib cage. And so to use it efficiently and effectively as we breathe, we need to feel these bottom 2 or 3 ribs fully expand in all directions. Imagine like a 3D breath. And then if your abdomen moves too, then absolutely fantastic. If you can synchronize the two, great. But let's really tune into the most important aspect of this, breathing into those bottom 2 or 3 ribs. So a great technique for this is to take your hands and then find the fleshy part of your abdomen, so where there's no bone tissue, and then work up until you are aware that you can feel the start of the rib cage. And then let's place your hands to the side of your body, so not to the front, to the side, and then press inwardly. Now for me, I'm going to use my thumbs to hook around the spine, and then my first fingers to hook around, the rib cage, and my first fingers to hook around the rib cage. And then I'm pressing in with a good degree of force. So my hands are doing this. Then I'm going to seal the lips. I'm going to breathe through the nose because that creates something called nasal nitric oxide. It's a really important gaseous chemical that gets us into a more relaxed state. And then as I inhale, I'm going to breathe into where my hands are placed. And I'm going to feel my hands separate in all directions. And then as I exhale, releasing all of the air, I'm going to feel my hands trace the movement of the rib cage back in. So let's start this now. Seal the lips. If you can, lower the gaze. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, I'd prefer you to take that option too. So seal the lips down, relax the shoulders. And then let's breathe into the region of the hands. And then slowly breathe all the way out of that region. So again, this is a really simple technique, but one that is incredibly potent at signaling to your entire system, relax. Fantastic technique for pain management, but also to set the body up for a practice that is going to release tension. Okay, let's bring the hands down, re-blink your eyes open if they're closed. Now let's see if we can continue to maintain breath in this region throughout the remainder of the class. Let's come to our massage ball. Now, if you haven't got one of these massage balls, or you want to follow many of my practices and get the ones that I use, then you can head to the website and go to the shop area, and you will find links there to buy all the myofascial techniques that I use in many of my classes. If you haven't got one to hand today, tennis ball would be a preferred option, much more so than a cricket ball or a lacrosse ball or a golf ball. They're all too dense, quite vicious on the bodily tissues. Use something that is a little bit spongy, has a bit of give. And then we're going to do this. We're going to take the ball to the right hand side. We're going to take your right foot across the left. So we're here. So you're drawing a number figure 4. Walk the hands forwards and bring the left foot back. And then notice where you feel the stretch on the outside of that right hip and buttock. That's where we're going to take the ball. So the ball's going to go to the outer right hip and buttock, quite close to my belt line. And then I'm going to lift my bum, roll until I feel what I now call yoga face or massage face, where we go wink and you can feel a little bit of tenderness. And then see if you can pause on that tenderness, seal the lips, relax the shoulders, and then breathe into that region that we found earlier. Now, to give you a little more of a guide, if you imagine a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excruciating pain, 1 being you can't feel anything at all, I would say that we're looking for a sensation around a 6, 7, 8. Now, we all have different pain thresholds, but what I'm trying to say there is something that you can definitely feel, and it's a challenge, and you wink and wince a little, but also something, like with all of the techniques I believe in yoga, that you can find some sense of ease, you can relax into. Now, let's roll, and maybe you can find something that's a little more sensitive, a little more challenging. So for me, I'm going to rotate a little more over to the right and then slowly sink in towards this region. And now I can feel that much more. So I seal the lips, breathe consciously through the nose, and breathe into the diaphragm region. We're going to pause here for anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute. Just seeing if you can now relax some of that support you've got in the hands. Just let your body sink in a little further. Okay, now we slowly roll as we come out. Release the right leg. Take the ball over to the left side and we do the same thing. Left leg comes across the right. We come into that figure 4, number 4. Where we feel the stretch, in and around that region is where we place the ball. Now, you really don't need to be overly specific with these techniques that we're using today. We don't need the exact point. We just need to know that we can feel some sense of tenderness. And not always, but quite often, tenderness in our soft tissues indicates there's something that we want to address. So if we just roll a little and lean into that side. And then the technique is focusing on the sensation, really tune into what you can feel. Seal the lips. Breathe intentionally through the nose and into the diaphragm area. So now that I feel a little more settled, I'm just going to roll again, lift the bum up. And I'm going to just ever so slightly twist a little further to the left. Find something that's a little more challenging to work with, and I'm right on it there. Maybe a bit closer to a muscle called your piriformis. And then I'm going to just let some of that support come out of my hands, so I'm really sinking in now. And again, just pay attention to the region that you're breathing into and out of. Try to breathe into that lower rib cage area. Relax into it, relax into it. Okay, now slow circles as you roll out. Perfect. Let's take the left leg away, place the ball to one side. Let's come to the third component then. So for this, we're going to come into half pigeon pose or a 90-90-90 posture. So as a rarity, you're not going to mirror me, follow me this time. So bring your right leg forwards, left leg back. I'm going to show you from this angle because I want you to see that I'm forming these 390 degrees. My right shin is parallel with my left thigh, and my right thigh is parallel with the left shin. And then what I'm going to look to do is come forwards and try to fold over towards my right foot. So I walk here. Now, if you don't feel you can come close to the ground and feel supported here, and this might be a time when you bring some cushions in or a bolster in from yoga and you come to here. And what we're looking to do is to try to create more stretch in the outside of your right hip, almost like you're stretching the buttock. So we're going to come down to it. I'm just going to take the bolster to one side because I feel that coming down is going to be a bit better for me. And then once you're here, focus on the outside of your right hip and buttock. To help you do that, maybe just try closing your eyes. Seal the lips. Now relax the shoulders away from your ears. And if you can, actively press your navel, your belly button down to the floor. Now finally breathe into those lower ribs and find the diaphragmatic breath. Stay here. See if you can relax your body a little further. And again, start to direct the breath lower down into the body. Let's take 3 more breaths. And a last breath. If your eyes are closed, blink them open. Press firmly into both hands. Slowly begin to walk the body up. Let's pause here for a second. Lift the chest. And then again, lower the gaze or see if you can close down your eyes. Bring your awareness to the body. This is a really valuable skill that we take from yoga. And just notice that there's been a physical shift. Something feels different in the body. As your eyes reopen, let's bring the left leg forwards. I'm going to show you from a different angle this time. Same posture though. Square your left shin up with the head of the mat, and your left shin, right thigh are parallel to one another, as is your left thigh and right shin. Twist. Remember, you can bring the bolster in or cushions for a bit of support. And then we're going to walk down. And again, come into the fullest expression that you can find. And then just giving you a moment or two to settle down here. And then now, see if you can close your eyes again. Seal the lips. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. And then breathe into that region we found earlier. Stay here as you focus on the breath. Just see if you can maybe find a little more ease. Relax the shoulders, maybe even wriggle around a little. Let's take 3 final breaths. And the last breath. Blink your eyes open, press firmly into both hands, so walk the body back up. And again, we'll just sit here for a second, relax the shoulders, lift the chest, lower the gaze. Bring your awareness to where you feel the sensations, just shift and change. And as you blink your eyes open, let's come to the third practice then. We're going to come into a similar position, so right leg forwards, left leg back into that 90-90. Many of you have done this with me before, either online or in classes. It's a real favourite of mine. Great way to strengthen the entire hip region and also get it to communicate better with the abdominal region too. So we're going to start hands either side of your right leg, one hand above the knee, one hand below the foot. Keep your back straight, and then as you come forwards, try to send your navel down to the thigh. Now importantly here, press down into both knees so that most of the action, most of the support is coming from your hips, less so the hands. And we're going to do this fluidly now. So we can lower, keep the back straight, maybe even looking forwards, press into both knees to lift. Now you can continue doing this with the aid and support of your hands. If you feel you can come into something that's a little more challenging for your strength, slow tap the floor, so this very slow tap, pressing into the knees, lifting your body up. If you feel you can go further and you're feeling particularly cocky today, then you can have your hands raised, lower the body down, press into both knees, and then consciously and willfully sit back up. Here we're going to take just 2 more, that's all. Folding all the way down, as low as you feel you can go without collapsing the spine. Try to keep the chest up, the navel lower. And if you're ahead of me, let's just do an extra one. Let's go again. Coming forwards, forwards, back nice and straight. Press all the way up. And now let's really challenge it. Raise the hands overhead. Pause here, close down your eyes. Now as you do this, notice the degree of strength on the left side of your body. So above the hip and into the waist, maybe below the hip. Lift your heart a little higher. Take a breath. Really good. Hands out front. Let's bring the left leg forwards to replace the right. Come back again. Something I forgot to mention, and maybe some of you have experienced this already. It's quite likely, if you've not done these practices before, you get a good degree of cramp in that back leg. It's a good indication that this muscle called your tension fasciae latae, it's trying to fire up. When it becomes unbearable, swing your leg forwards, massage it and come back. As you continue this practice, it's likely that sensation will completely disappear. You'll be much stronger in that area. So again, let's come here, hands either side of the left foot, back really straight. Remember, we're not bowing the head around in the spine. Heart up, navel down. And then here, if you continue to use the support of the hands, which you definitely can, make sure you're still pressing down into the knees. So the majority of the movement is coming from all of this hip region. This is inner thigh here. Outer thigh, tension fasciae latae, inner and IT band. The waist area, the obliques, the internal obliques, multifidus, lots of silly names that I'm shouting out. But essentially, this entire region, it's engaged and strong. Remember that you can slow tap the floor, and that's going to be stage 2. Or the super cocky ones, hands raised, lowers down. And again, this is a practice that is designed to be done frequently through the week. So 2 to 3 times a week is going to be ample to make a real change and shift to the strength and stability in this entire region. Let's take 2 more. Slowly lowering down. Navel down, heart up. And then let's take 1 more, my friends. Shoulder blades together. Slowly lower us. Come down. Press into the knees so we can slowly begin to sit up. Hands behind the back. Come back to the center of the mat. Let's come full circle to close our class. You can lie down if you feel more comfortable to breathe and relax, lay down, or you can join me in a seated position. Let's re-layer in the breath, because of all the techniques we're doing, that's the one that you've got the most access to throughout the day. You might not always be able to roll the mat out and jump down in the office or at home with the kids or at home your own and start doing these practices. You can always change the way you breathe. So lower the gaze. If you can, close down your eyes, seal the lips, consciously breathe through the nose. And even if you've done this many times before, just for today, and that means every time you do this video, press your hands into the lower rib cage area. Remember, not here at the front, out to the side. Press in. And then let's breathe into that region. And breathe out of that region. Now this time, if you can continue to focus your breath here, but also stretch the abdomen too. So on the inhale, the navel drops, the abdomen swells. On the exhale, the navel moves in and up. It's a challenging technique, but see if you can coordinate the two. Now, importantly, slow the breath down and breathe softer. Resist the temptation for these big, stimulating, quite aggravating breaths. Sometimes that's valuable and valid, not when we're trying to relax. Now, if your hands are still resting on your body, bring them by your side and rest them down onto the lap. Or as I like to do, interlace the fingertips and the thumbs, rest in front of the feet. And without the assistance of your hands, breathe into that same area. And importantly, build a relationship with this technique. So we do that by becoming aware of how we feel as we breathe in this way. What shift has the breath helped you make? Maybe not entirely peaceful or focused, but I would suspect a little more peaceful and focused. Okay, bringing our practice to a close. Roll the shoulders, let the head rock from side to side. Bend your elbows, reach hands overhead, out to the side. Ooh, a little twist. Hands behind your back, unfold the legs, arch the spine, really flare the chest. And we are home. Thank you very much for joining. Hope you enjoyed practice. I will see you in class or online very soon. Take care.